And you make specific reference to truck driving and the fact that there are going to be these automated cars on the roads. So would you, Tucker Carlson, be in favor of restrictions on the ability of trucking companies to use this sort of technology specifically to, sort of artificially maintain the number of jobs that are available in the trucking industry?
Are you joking?
Yeah, tell him, Tucker. It's ridiculous to say that we should ban driverless trucks in the name of saving jobs.
In a second.
What?
In a second.
Oh, for fuck.
In other words, if I were president, what I say to DOT, to Department of Transportation, we're not letting driverless trucks on the road, period. Why? Really simple. Driving for a living is the single most common job for high school educated men in this country, in all 50 states.
Just because it's the most common job doesn't mean they wouldn't be able to find a different job if that one wasn't there. Freeing up capital is a good thing, and that includes human capital.
By the way, that's the same group whose wages have gone down by 11% over the past 30 years.
I have to say it again. It's not about wages. It's about purchasing power. Driverless trucks would reduce the cost of shipping. Otherwise, no one would implement them. And that means that all products that are shipped, which means basically everything that you buy, is going to be cheaper. If you want to complain about their loss of purchasing power, you should be complaining about the cause of it. Minimum wage together with an inflationary monetary policy.
The social cost of eliminating their jobs in a 10-year span, 5-year span, 30-year span is so high that it's not sustainable.
But what's sustainable about passing laws to preserve obsolete jobs? When people started driving cars, buggy whip makers went out of business. Would you have passed laws to preserve their jobs too?
So the greater good is protecting your citizens.
Yeah, it's always about the greater good, isn't it? Funny thing about that, every time politicians say something is for the greater good, it ends up hurting the people and only being good for politicians and their cronies.
Capitalism is the best economic system I can think of, I think that anyone's ever thought of, but that doesn't mean that it's a religion.
Capitalism is letting people make voluntary choices in the economy. You're talking about using the law to intrude on those choices. That puts the burden of proof on you to justify it, not shift that burden as you've just done, together with poisoning the well by calling it a religion. Yeah, leaving people alone to interact the way they want to. What a horrible religion. Using the law to force your way onto others? Nothing religious at all about that.
There's no Nicene Creed of capitalism that I have to buy into.
You are the one wanting to force other people to do things your way. You're an authoritarian. And like all authoritarians, you think that your own subjective opinion is the one true objective fact.
What I care about is living in a country where, decent people can live happy lives, actually.
Mindless rhetoric that has nothing to do with banning driverless trucks.
And so, no, I would say immediately, no, are you joking? I don't want to put 10 million men out of work because you're going to have 10 million dead families.
Yeah, people will die! The age-old cry of the tyrant. How is this moron any different from people like Nancy Pelosi or Dianne Feinstein?
What's to prevent this principle that you're speaking up from just becoming Ludditism? That technology is destroying jobs.
Well, I don't think
just freeze
Ludditism is
technology.
insane.
Did you catch that? He just said, I don't think Ludditism is insane. Yeah, really.
Look, I'm for capitalism.
No, you aren't.
I'm just saying that there was a cost. Half the world was enslaved for 70 years under Bolshevism because those countries didn't manage, I would argue, the transition from an agrarian economy into an industrial one.
Really? No, Tucker. They were enslaved and impoverished because of people like you. People who thought that they knew better than the free market how things should be done.
And no one is trying to take control of it at all or figure out how to channel these forces into an outcome that we want to live with realistically.
No one should be trying to take control of it. And who's this we? You are not speaking for all of society. You're speaking only for yourself. If people en masse didn't want this technology, then nobody would use it. You're trying to push your own subjective opinion onto everyone else and pretending that it's because of what we want to live with. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not hit like and subscribe? And to make sure I can keep producing content, support this channel by becoming a patron. And check out all the other great content here, like this video selected especially for you.